our readings. Today we are continuing with chapter 2 of What is to be Done by V.I.Lenin. I had to restart this 3 times because I just sneezed all day, not a sneeze, recording 3 sneezes in a row. So without any further ado, chapter 2. Chapter 2. The Spontaneity of the Masses and the Class Consciousness of Social Democracy. We have said that our movement, much wider and deeper than the movement of the 70s, must be inspired with the same devoted determination and energy that inspired the movement at that time. Indeed, no one, we think, has up until now doubted that the strength of the modern movement lies in the awakening of the masses, principally the industrial proletariat, and that its weakness lies in the lack of consciousness and initiative among the revolutionary leaders. However, a most astonishing discovery has been made recently, which threatens to overthrow all the views that have hitherto prevailed on this question. This discovery was made by V.I.Lenin, which, in its controversy with Iskra and Zarya, did not confine itself to making objections on separate points, but tried to ascribe general disagreements to a more profound cause, to the disagreement concerning the estimation of the relative importance of the spontaneous and consciously methodical element. V.I.Lenin's indictment reads, belittling the importance of the objective or spontaneous elements of development. To this we say, if the controversy with Iskra and Zarya resulted in absolutely nothing more than causing V.I.Lenin to think over these general disagreements, that single result would give us considerable satisfaction. So important is this thesis, and so clearly does it illuminate the quintessence of the present-day theoretical and political difference that exists among Russian social democrats. This is why the question of the relation between consciousness and spontaneity is of such enormous general interest, and that is why this question must be dealt with in great detail. Subchapter A. The beginning of the spontaneous movement. In the previous chapter we pointed out how universally absorbed the educated youth of Russia were in the theories of Marxism in the middle of the 90s. The strikes that followed the famous St. Petersburg Industrial War of 1896 also assumed a similar wholesale character. The fact that these strikes spread over the whole of Russia showed how deep the reviving popular movement was, and if we must speak of the spontaneous element, then, of course, we must admit that this strike movement certainly bore a spontaneous character. But there is a difference between spontaneity and spontaneity. Strikes occurred in Russia in the 70s and in the 60s, and also in the first half of the 19th century, and these strikes were accompanied by the spontaneous destruction of machinery, etc. Compared with these revolts, the strikers of the 90s might even be described as conscious, to such an extent do they mark the progress which the labor movement had made since that period. This shows that the spontaneous element in essence represents nothing more nor less than consciousness in an embryonic form. Even the primitive rebellion expressed the awakening of consciousness to a certain extent. The workers abandoned their age-long faith in the permanence of the system which oppressed them. They began, I shall not say to understand, but to sense the necessity for collective resistance, and emphatically abandoned their slavish submissions to their superior. But all this was more in the nature of outburst of desperation and vengeance than struggle. The strikes of the 90s revealed far greater flashness of consciousness. Definite demands were put forward, the time to strike was carefully chosen, known cases and examples in other places were discussed, etc. While the revolts were simply uprisings of the oppressed, the systematic strikes represented the class struggle in embryo, but only in embryo. Taken by themselves, these strikes were simply trade union struggles, but not yet social democratic struggles. workers were not and could not be conscious of the irreconcilable antagonism of their interests to the whole of the modern political and social system, i.e., it was not yet social democratic consciousness. In this sense, the strikes of the 90s, in spite of the enormous progress they represent as compared with the revolts, represent the purely spontaneous movement. We said that there could not yet be social democratic consciousness among the workers. This consciousness could only be brought to them from without. The history of all countries shows that the working class, exclusively by its own effort, is able to develop only trade union consciousness, i.e., it may itself realize the necessity for combining in unions to fight against the employers and to strive to compel the government to pass necessary labor legislation. The theory of socialism, however, grew out of the philosophic, historical, and economic theories that were elaborated by the educated representative of the propertied classes, the intellectuals. The founders of modern scientific socialism, Marx and Engels, themselves belonged to the bourgeoisie intelligentsia. Similarly, in Russia, the theoretical doctrine of social democracy arose quite independently of the spontaneous growth of the labor movement. It arose as a natural and inevitable outcome of the development of ideas among the revolutionary socialist intelligentsia. At the time of which we are speaking, i.e., the middle of the 90s, this doctrine not only represented the complete formulated program of the emancipation of labor group, but had already won the adhesion of the majority of the revolutionary youth in Russia. Hence, simultaneously we had both the spontaneous awakening of the masses of the workers, the awakening to conscious life and struggle, and the striving of the revolutionary youth, armed with the social democratic theories, to reach the workers. In this connection, it is particularly important to state the often forgotten and comparatively little known fact that the early social democrats of that period zealously carried on economic agitation, being guided in this by the really useful instruction contained in the pamphlet Agitation that was still in manuscript. But they did not regard this as their sole task. On the contrary, right from the very beginning, they brought up the general historical task of Russian social democracy, and particularly the task of overthrowing the autocracy. For example, the St. Petersburg group of social democrats, which was formed by League of the Struggle from the Emancipation of the Working Class towards the end of the 1895, got out the first numbers of the journal known as Yellow. This number was completely ready for the press when it was seized by the gendarmes who, on the night of December 8, 1895, raided the house of one of the members of the group, Anatol Alexeyevich Vaniev, and so the original Yellow was not fated to see the light. The leading article in this number, which perhaps in 30 years' time some Ruskaya Starina, Russian antiquary, will discover in the archives of the Department of Police, described the historic task of the working class in Russia, of which the achievement of political liberty is regarded as the most important. This number also contained an article entitled What are our cabinet minister thinking of?, which dealt with the wrecking of the permission of the Elementary Education Committee by the police. In addition, there was some correspondence from St. Petersburg as well as from other parts of Russia, for example a letter on the shooting down of the workers in the Yaroslav province. This, if we are not mistaken, first attempt of the Russian Social Democrats of the 90s was not a narrow, local, and certainly not an economic newspaper, but one that aimed to unite the strike movement with the revolutionary movement against the autocracy and to win all the victims of oppression and political and reactionary obscurantism over to the side of social democracy. No one in the slightest degree acquainted with the state of the movement at that period could doubt that such a paper would have been fully approved of by the workers of the capital and the revolutionary intelligentsia and would have had a wide circulation. The failure of the enterprise merely showed that the social democrats of that time were unable to meet the immediate requirements of the time owing to their lack of revolutionary experience and practical training. The same thing must be said with regards to the St. Petersburg Rabohai Listok workers' leaflet, and particularly with regards to the Rabohaya Gazeta and Manifesto established in the spring revolutionary experience and organizational skill are things that can be acquired provided the desire is there to acquire these qualities, provided the shortcomings are recognized, which in revolutionary activity is more than halfway towards removing them. It was a great misfortune, however, when this consciousness began to grow dim. It was very lively among the workers of the group mentioned, when people appeared and even social democratic organs who were prepared to regard shortcoming as virtues, who try even to put a theoretical basis to slavish cringing before spontaneity. It is time to summarize this tendency, the substance of which is incorrectly and too narrowly described as economism. Subchapter B. Bowing to spontaneity, Rabohaimism. Before dealing with the literary manifestation of this subservience, we would like to mention the following characteristic fact communicated to us from the above-mentioned source, which throws some light on circumstances of the rise and growth of the two diverging Russian social democratic tendencies among the comrades working in St. Petersburg. In the beginning of 1897, just prior to their banishment, A.A. Vaniev and several of his comrades attended a private meeting at which the old and young members of the League of the Struggle for the Emancipation of the Working Class were gathered. The conversation centered chiefly around the question of organization, and particularly around the rules for a workers' benefit club, which, in their final form, were published in Listok Rabotnika, Workers' Leaflet, numerals 9 and 10, page 46. Sharp differences were immediately revealed between the old members, the Decembrists, and the St. Petersburg Social Democrats, jestingly called them, and several of the young members who subsequently took an active part in the work of Rabohaimism. The divergences were very great and a very heated discussion ensued. The young members defended the main principles of the rules in the form in which they were published. The old members said that this was not what was wanted, that first of all, it was necessary to consolidate the League of the Struggle into an organization of revolutionaries which would have control of all the various workers' benefit clubs, student propaganda circles, etc. It goes without saying that the controversialists had no suspicion at that time that this disagreement were the beginning of a wide divergence. On the contrary, they regarded them as being of an isolated and casual nature. But this fact shows that economism did not arise and spread in Russia without a fight on the part of the old social democrats. The economists of today are apt to forget this. And if this struggle has not left documentary traces behind it, it is solely because the membership of the circles working at that time underwent such constant changes that no continuity was established and, consequently, differences were not recorded in any document. The appearance of Rabohaimism brought economism to the light of day, but not all at once. We must picture to ourselves concretely the condition of the work and the short-livedness of the majority of the Russian circles, and only those who have experienced this can have any exact idea of it. In order to understand how much there was an accidental in the success and failures of the new tendencies in various towns, and why for a long time neither the advocates nor the opponents of this new tendency could make up their minds. Indeed, they had no opportunity to do so, as to whether this was really a new tendency or whether it was merely an expression of the lack of training of certain individuals. For example, the first mimeographed copies of Rabohaimism never reached the great majority of social democrats, and we are able to refer to the leading article in the first number only because it was reproduced in an article by V.I.Lenin, number 9 and 10, page 47, who, of course, did not fail zealously but unreasonably to extol the new paper, which was so different from the papers and the schemes for papers mentioned above. And this leading article deserves to be dealt with in detail because it so strongly expresses the spirit of Rabohaimism and economism generally. After referring to the fact that The arm of the blue coats could never stop the progress of the labor movement. The leading article goes on to say, the virility of the labor movement is due to the fact that the workers themselves are at last taking their fate in their own hand and out of the hands of the leaders. And this fundamental thesis is then developed in greater detail. As a matter of fact, the leaders, i.e. the Social Democrats, the organizer of the League of the Struggle, were, one might say, torn out of the hands of the workers by the police. Yet, it is made to appear that the workers were fighting against the leaders and eventually liberated themselves from their yoke. Instead of calling upon the workers to go forwards toward the consolidation of the revolutionary organization and to expansion of political activity, they began to call for a regress to the purely trade union struggle. They announced that the economic basis of the movement is eclipsed by the effort never to forget the political idea, and that the watchword for the movement was fight for an economic position, or to go even one better, the workers for the workers. It was declared that strikes funds are more valuable for the movement than 100 other organizations. Compare this statement made in 1897 with the controversy between the Decembrists and the young member in the beginning of 1897. Catchwords like, we must concentrate not on the cream of the workers but on the average worker, the mass worker. Politics always obediently follow economics, etc., etc., became the fashion and exercised irresistible influence upon the masses of the youth who were attracted to the movement but who, in the majority of cases, were acquainted only with legally expounded fragments of Marxism. Consciousness was completely overwhelmed by spontaneity, the spontaneity of the Social Democrats who repeated PV's ideas, the spontaneity of those workers who were carried away by the argument that a kopeck added to a ruble was worth more than socialism and politics, and that they must fight knowing that they are fighting not for some future generation, but for themselves and their children. Leading article in Rabohaya Missile number 1. Phrases like this have always been the favorite weapons of the Western European bourgeoisie, who, while hating socialism, strove like the German social-political urge to transplant English trade unionism to their own soil and to preach to the workers that the purely trade union struggle is the struggle for their own and their children's welfare, and not a struggle for some kind of socialism that will be realized only in the very remote future. And now, the VVs of Russian social democracy repeat these bourgeois phrases. It is important at this point to note 3 circumstances which will be useful to us in our further analysis of contemporary differences. First of all, the overwhelming of consciousness by spontaneity to which we referred above also took place spontaneously. This might sound like a pun, but alas, it is the bitter truth. It did not take place as a result of an open struggle between 2 diametrically opposed points of view in which one gained the victory over the other. It occurred because an increasing number of old revolutionaries were torn away by the gendarmes, and because increasing number of young members and the VVs of Russian social democracy came upon the scene. Everyone who I shall not say has participated in the contemporary Russian movement, but who has at least breathed its atmosphere, knows perfectly well that this was so. And the reason why we, nevertheless, strongly urge the reader to ponder well this universally known fact, and why we quote the facts as an illustration, so to speak, about the Rabohaya Dielo as it first appeared, and about the controversy between the old and the young at the beginning of 1897, is that certain persons are speculating on the public's, or the very youthful youth's, ignorance of this fact, and are boasting of their democracy. We shall return to this point further on. Secondly, in the very first literary manifestation of economism, we observe the extremely curious and highly characteristic phenomenon from the point of view of the differences prevailing among contemporary social democrats, that the adherents of the pure and simple labor movement, the worshippers of the closest organic, the term used by Rabohaya Dielo, contacts with the proletarian struggle, the opponents of the non-labor intelligentsia, notwithstanding that it is a socialist intelligentsia, are compelled, in order to defend their position, to resort to the arguments of the bourgeois pure and simple trade unionists. These show that right from the outset Rabbochaimism began unconsciously to carry out the program of the Credo. This shows what the Rabbochai ideologue cannot understand, that subservience to the spontaneity of the labor movement, the belittling of the role of the conscious element, of the role of the social democracy, means, whether one likes it or not, growth of influence of bourgeois ideology among the workers. All those who talk about exaggerating the importance of the ideology, about exaggerating the role of the conscious elements, etc., imagine that the pure and simple labor movement can work out an independent ideology for itself if only the workers take their fate out of the hands of the leaders. But in this they are profoundly mistaken. To supplement what has been said above, we shall quote the following profoundly true and important utterances by Karl Kautzy on the new program of the Austrian Social Democratic Party. Many of our revisionist critics believe that Marx asserted that economic development and the class struggle create not only the conditions for socialist production but also and directly the consciousness, KK's italics, of its necessity. And these critics advance the argument that the most highly capitalistically developed country, England, is more remote than any other from this consciousness. Judging from the draft, one must come to the conclusion that the committee which drafted the Austrian program shared this alleged orthodox Marxian view, which is thus refuted. In the draft program it is stated, the more capitalist development increases the numbers of the proletariat, the more the proletariat is compelled and obtains the opportunity to fight against capitalism. This proletariat becomes conscious of the possibility and necessity for socialism. In this connection, socialist consciousness is represented as a necessity and direct result of the proletarian class struggle, but this is absolutely untrue. Of course, socialism as a theory has its roots in the modern economic relationship in the same way as the class struggle of the proletariat has, and in the same way as the latter emerges from the struggle against capitalist-created poverty and misery of the masses. But socialism and the class struggle arise side by side and not one out of the other. Each arises out of different premises. Modern socialist consciousness can arise only on the basis of profoundly scientific knowledge. Indeed, modern economic science is as much a condition for socialist production as, say, modern technology, and the proletariat can create neither the one nor the other, no matter how much it may desire to do so. Both arise out of the modern social processes. The vehicles of science are not the proletariat, but the bourgeois intelligentsia. It was out of the heads of members of this stratum that modern socialism originated, and it was they who communicated it to the more intellectually developed proletarians who, in their turn, introduced it into the proletarian class struggle where conditions allow that to be done. Thus, socialist consciousness is something introduced into the proletarian class struggle from without, and not something that arose within it spontaneously. Accordingly, the old Heinfeld program quite rightly stated that the task of social democracy is to imbue the proletariat with the consciousness of its position and the consciousness of its tasks. There would be no need for this if consciousness emerged from the class struggle. The new draft copied this postulate from the old program and attached it to the postulate mentioned above, but this completely broke the line of thought. Since there can be no talk of independent ideology being developed by the masses of the workers in the process of their movement, then the only choice is either bourgeois or socialist ideology. There is no middle course, for humanity has not created a third ideology, and moreover, in a society torn by class antagonism, there can never be a non-class or above-class ideology. Hence, to belittle socialist ideology in any way, to deviate from it in the slightest degree, means strengthening bourgeois ideology. There is a lot of talk about spontaneity, but the spontaneous development of the labor movement leads to its becoming subordinated to bourgeois ideology. It means developing according to the program of the Credo, for the spontaneous labor movement is pure, and simply trade unionism is nur gewerkschar. combat spontaneity, to divert the labor movement with its spontaneous trade unionist driving from under the wing of the bourgeoisie and to bring it under the wing of the revolutionary social democracy. The phrases employed by the authors of the economic letter in Iskra number 12 about the efforts of the most inspired ideologies not being able to divert the labor movement from the path that is determined by the interaction of the material elements and the material environments are tantamount to the abandonment of socialism, and if only the authors of this letter fearlessly thought out what they say to its logical conclusion, as everyone who enters into the arena of literary and public activity should do, they would have nothing else to do but fold their useless arms over their empty breasts and leave the field of action to the Struves and Prokopoviches, who are dragging the labor movement along the line of least resistance, i.e., along the line of bourgeois trade unionism, or to the Subatovs, who are dragging it along the line of clerical and gendarme ideology. Recall the example of Germany. What was the historical service Lassalle rendered to the German labor movement? It was that he diverted that movement from the path of progressive trade unionism and cooperation, along which it was traveling spontaneously with the benign assistance of Schulz, Delitzsch, and those like him. To fulfill a task like that, it is necessary to do something altogether different from indulging in talk about belittling the spontaneous element, about tactics process, and about the interaction between elements and environments, etc. A desperate struggle against spontaneity had to be carried on, and only after such a struggle, extending over many years, was it possible to convert the working population of Berlin from a bulwark of the Progressive Party into one of the finest strongholds of social democracy. This fight is not finished even now, as those who study the history of the German movement from Prokopovich and its philosophy from Struve believe. Even now the German working class is, so to speak, broken up into a number of ideologies. A section of the workers is organized in Catholic and monarchist labor unions. Another section is organized in the Hirschdunker unions, founded by the bourgeois worshipper of English trade unionism, while a third section is organized in social democratic trade unions. The latter is immeasurably more numerous than the rest, but social democracy was able to achieve this superiority and will be able to maintain it only by unswervingly fighting against all other ideologies. But why, the reader will ask, does this spontaneous movement, the movement along the line of least resistance, lead to the domination of bourgeois ideology? For the simple reason that bourgeois ideology is far older in origin than social democratic ideology, because it is more fully developed and because it possesses immeasurably more opportunities for becoming widespread. And the younger the socialist movement is in any given country, the more vigorously must it fight against all attempts to entrench non-socialist ideology, and the more strongly must it warn the workers against those bad counsellors who shout against the exaggeration of the conscious element, etc. The authors of the economic letter, in unison with Rabuhayedielo, declaim against the intolerance that is characteristic of the infancy of the movement. To this we reply, yes, our movement is indeed in its infancy, and in order that it may grow up the quicker, it must become infected with intolerance against all those who retard its growth by subservience to spontaneity. Nothing is so ridiculous and harmful as pretending that we are old hands who have long ago experienced all the decisive episodes of the struggle. Thirdly, the first number of Rabuhaya Missal shows that the term economism, which of course we do not propose to abandon because it has more or less established itself, does not adequately convey the real character of the new tendencies. Rabuhaya Missal does not altogether repudiate the political struggle. The Benefit Society Constitution, published in Rabuhaya Missal number 1, contains a reference to fighting against the government. Rabuhaya Missal believes, however, that politics always obediently follow economics, and Rabuhayedielo gives a variation of this thesis when, in its program, it asserts that in Russia, more than in any other country, the economic struggle is inseparable from the political struggle. If by politics is meant social democratic politics, then the postulates advanced by Rabuhaya Missal and Rabuhayedielo are wrong. The economic struggle of the workers is very often connected with measures for the alleviation of their distress, measures characteristic of their position, but which do not altogether change that position, i.e., which do not remove the subjection of labor to capital, then Rabo-Hayek-Diallo's postulate is correct. That striving, indeed, is common to the British trade unionists who are hostile to socialism, to the Catholic workers, to the Subotov workers, etc. There are politics and politics. We see therefore that Rabo-Hayek does not so much deny the political struggle as how, to its spontaneity, to its lack of purpose. While recognizing the political struggle, it would be more correct to say the political desire and demands of the workers, which arises spontaneously from the labor movement itself. It absolutely refuses independently to work out a specifically social democratic policy corresponding to the general task of socialism and to contemporary conditions in Russia. Further on, we shall show that Rabo-Hayek-Diallo commits the same error. Subchapter C. The Self-Emancipation Group and Rabo-Hayek-Diallo. We have dealt at such length with the little-known and now almost forgotten leading article in the first number of Rabo-Hayek-Diallo because it was the first and most striking expression of that general stream of thought which afterwards found the light of day in innumerable streamlets. V.I. was absolutely right when, in praising the first number and the leading article of Rabo-Hayek-Diallo, he said that it was written in a sharp and provocative style. Every man with conviction who thinks he has something new to say writes provocatively and expresses his views strongly. Only those who are accustomed to sit between two stools lack provocativeness. Only such people are able to praise the provocativeness of Rabo-Hayek-Diallo one day and attack the provocative polemics of its opponent the next. We shall not dwell on the special supplement to Rabo-Hayek-Diallo. Below we shall have occasion on a number of points to refer to this work, which expresses the idea of the economists more consistently than any other. But shall briefly mention that manifesto of the self-emancipation of the workers' group, published in March 1899, reprinted in the London Nakan Union on the eve, number 7, June 1899. The authors of this manifesto quite rightly say that the workers of Russia are only just awakening, are only just looking around, and instinctively clutch at the first means of struggle that come to their hands. But from this correct observation, they draw the same incorrect conclusion that is drawn by Rabo-Hayek-Diallo, forgetting that instinct is that unconsciousness spontaneity to whose aid the socialist must come, that the first means of struggle that come to their hands will always be in modern society the trade union means of struggle, and the first ideology that comes to hand will be bourgeois trade union ideology. Similarly, these authors do not repudiate politics, they merely say, repeating what was said by V.V., that politics are the superstructure and therefore political agitation must be the superstructure, so the agitation carried on in favor of the economic struggle. It must arise on the basis of the struggle and give precedence to it. As for Rabo-Hayek-Diallo, it commenced its activity by a defense of the economists. It uttered a downright untruth in its very first number 1, page 141-142, when it stated that it did not know which young comrade Axel Rod referred to in his well-known pamphlet, in which he uttered a warning against the economists. In the controversy that flared up with Axel Rod and Plekhanov over this falsehood, Rabo-Hayek-Diallo was compelled to admit that, by expressing ignorance, it desired to defend all the younger social democrats abroad from this unjust accusation. Axel Rod accused the economists of having a restricted outlook. As a matter of fact, this accusation was absolutely just, and Rabo-Hayek-Diallo knows perfectly well that, among others, it applied to V.Y. a number of its editorial staff. We shall observe in passing that in this controversy Axel Rod was absolutely right, and Rabo-Hayek-Diallo was absolutely wrong in their respective interpretation of my pamphlet, The Tasks of Russian Social Democracy. which expressed views that were squeezed out by economist views in St. Petersburg in 1898. But Yellow not only defended the economists, it itself constantly fell into fundamental economists' errors. The cause of this error is to be found in the ambiguity of the interpretation given to the following thesis in Yellow's program. We consider that the most important phenomena of Russian life, the only that will mostly determine the tasks and the character of the literary activity of the League, is the mass labor movement that has arisen in recent years. That the mass movement is a most important phenomenon is a fact about which there can be no dispute. But the crux of the question is, what is the meaning of the phrase, the labor movement will determine the tasks? It may be interpreted in one of two ways. Either it means subservience to the spontaneity of this movement, i.e., reducing the role of social democracy to mere subservience to the labor movement as such, the interpretation given to it by Rabohaya Mizol, the self-emancipation group, and other economists. Or it may mean that the mass movement sets before us new theoretical, political, and organizational tasks, far more complicated than those that might have satisfied us in the period before the rise of the mass movement. Yellow inclined and still inclines towards the first interpretation, for it said nothing definitely about new tasks, but argued all the time as if the mass movement relieved us of the necessity of the clearly appreciating and fulfilling the tasks it sets before us. We need only point out that Yellow considered that we could not possibly accept the overthrow of the autocracy as the first task of the mass labor movement, and that it degraded this task, ostensibly in the interest of the mass movement, to the struggle for immediate political demands. We shall pass over the article by B. Krzyzewski, the editor of Yellow, entitled The Economic and Political Struggle in the Russian Movement, published in number 7 of that paper, in which these very mistakes are repeated, and take up Yellow number 10. We shall not, of course, enter in detail into the various objections raised by Krzyzewski and Martinov against Zarya and Iskra. What interests us here solely is the theoretical position taken up by Yellow number 10. For example, we shall not examine the literary curiosity that Yellow saw a diametrical contradiction between the postulate. Social democracy does not tie its hands, it does not restrict its activity to some preconceived plan or a method of political struggle. It recognizes all methods of struggle as long as they correspond to the forces at the disposal of the party under the given conditions, etc. Iskra number 1. And the postulate. Without a strong organization tested in the political struggle carried on under all circumstances and in all periods, there can be no talk of a systematic plan of activity enlightened by firm principle and unswervingly carried out, which alone is worthy of being called tactics. Iskra number 4. To confuse the recognition in principle of all means of struggle, of all plans and methods provided they are expedient, with the necessity at a given political moment to be guided by a strictly adhered to plan in talking of tactics, is tantamount to confusing the... This is a sort of quote. Political demands which in their character are common to the whole of Russia should, however, at first, this was written in August 1900, correspond to the experience gained by the given stratum of workers in the economic struggle. Only on the basis of this experience can and should the political agitation be taken up, etc. Page 11. On page 4, the author protesting against what he regards as the absolutely unfounded charge of economist heresy, pathetically exclaims, what social democrat does not know that according to the theories of Marx and Engels, the class interest is the decisive factor in history, and consequently, the proletarian struggle for the defense of its economic interest must be of first-rate importance in its class development and struggle for emancipation. The word consequently is absolutely out of place. The fact that economic interests are a decisive factor does not in the least imply that economic, i.e. trade union struggle, must be the main factor, for the essential and decisive interests of classes can be satisfied only by radical political fundamental economic interests of the proletariat can be satisfied only by a political revolution that will substitute the dictatorship of the proletariat for the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. Krzyzewski repeats the argument of the VVs of Russian social democracy, i.e., politics follows politics, etc. And the Bernsteinists of German social democracy, for example, by arguments like these, Waldman tried to prove that the workers must first of all acquire economic power before they can think about political revolution. Right, so picking up from above the quote, to confuse the recognition in principle of all means of struggle, of all plans and methods, provided they are expedient, with the necessity at a given political moment to be guided by a strictly adhered to plan in talking of tactics, is tantamount to confusing the recognition by medical science of all kinds of treatment of diseases with the necessity for adopting a certain definite method of treatment for a given disease. The point is, however, that Rabbi Diallo, while suffering from a disease which we have called subservient to spontaneity, refuses to recognize any method of treatment for that disease. Hence, it made the remarkable discovery that a plan of tactics contradicts the fundamental spirit of Marxism, that tactics are a process of growth of party tasks which grows with the party. Rabbi Diallo, italics, page 11. The latter remark has every chance of becoming a celebrated maxim, a permanent monument to the tendency of Rabbi Diallo to the question whither. A leading organ replies, motion is a process of alteration in the distance between starting point and destination. This matchless example of profundity is not merely a literary curiosity. If it were, it would not be worth dealing with it at length. But the program of the whole tendency, i.e. the program which R.M. in the special supplement to Rabbi Misl expressed in the words that struggle is desirable, which is possible, and the struggle which is possible is the one that is going on now. It is the tendency of unbound opportunism which passively adapts itself to spontaneity. A plan of tactics contradicts the fundamental spirit of Marxism, but this is a label on Marxism. It is like the caricature of it that was presented to us by the Narodniks in their fight against us. It means putting restraint on the initiative and energy of class-conscious fighters, whereas Marxism, on the contrary, gives a gigantic impetus to the initiative and energy of social democrats, opens up for them the widest perspective, and, if one may so express it, places at their disposal the mighty force of millions and millions of workers spontaneously rising for the struggle. The whole history of international social democracy seeds with plans advanced first by one and then by another political leader, some confirming the farsightedness and correct political and organizational insight of their author, and others revealing their short-sightedness and lack of political judgment. At the time when Germany was passing one of the most important turning points in its history, the time of the establishment of the empire, the opening of the Reichstag, and the granting of universal suffrage, Liebknecht had one plan for social democratic policy and work, and Schweitzer had another. When the anti-socialist law came down on the heads of the German socialists, Most and Hasselmann had one plan, that is, to call for violence and terror. Hochberg, Schramm, and partly Bernstein had another, which they began to preach to the social democrats, somewhat as follows. They themselves provoked the passing of the anti-socialist laws by being unreasonably bitter and revolutionary, and must now show that they deserve pardon by exemplary conduct. There was yet a third plan proposed by those who paved the way for and carried out the publication of an illegal organ. It is easy, of course, in retrospect, many years after the fight over the selection of the path to be followed has finished, and after history has pronounced its verdict as to the expediency of the path selected, to utter profound maxims about the growth of party tasks that grow with the party. But at a time of confusion, when the Russian critics and economists degraded social democracy to the level of trade unionism, and when the terrorists are strongly advocating adoption of a plan of tactics that Russian Social Democrats suffer from lack of initiative and energy, from a lack of breadth of political propaganda, agitation, and organization, a lack of plans for a broader organization of revolutionary work. At such a time to say, a plan of tactics contradicts the fundamental spirit of Marxism, not only means theoretically to vulgarize Marxism, but also practically to drag the party backward. Rabbi Diallo goes on sermonizing. Quote from Rabbi Diallo. The revolutionary social democrat is only confronted by the task of accelerating objective development by his conscious work. It is not his task to obviate it or substitute his own subjective plans for this development. Iskra knows all this in theory, but the enormous importance which Marxism quite justly attaches to conscious revolutionary work causes it in practice, owing to its doctrinaire view of tactics, to belittle the significance of the objective on the spontaneous element of development. Page 18. Another example of the extraordinary theoretical confusion worthy of V.V. and that fraternity. We would ask our philosopher, how may a deviser of subjective plans belittle objective development? Obviously, by losing sight of the fact that this objective development creates or strengthens, destroys or weakens certain classes, strata, groups of nation, etc., and in this way creates a definite international political grouping of forces, the position of revolutionary parties, etc. If the deviser of plans did that, his mistake would not only be that he belittled the spontaneous element, but he belittled the conscious element, for he would then show that he lacked the consciousness that would enable him properly to understand objective development. Hence, the very talk about estimating the relative significance of spontaneity and consciousness sufficiently reveals a complete lack of consciousness. If certain spontaneous elements of development can be grasped at all by humans' understanding, then an incorrect estimation of them would be tantamount to belittling the conscious element. But if they cannot be grasped, then we cannot be aware of them, and therefore cannot speak of them. What is Krzyzewski arguing about then? If he thinks that Iskra's subjective plans are erroneous, as he in fact declared them to be, then he ought to show what objective facts are ignored in this plan, and then charge Iskra with a lack of consciousness for ignoring them, with, to use his own words, belittling the conscious element. If, however, while being displeased with the subjective plans, he can bring forward no other argument except that of belittling the spontaneous element, he merely shows 1. That he theoretically understands Marxism a la Karayev's and the Mikhailovskis, who have been sufficiently ridiculed by Baltov, and 2. That practically he is quite pleased with the spontaneous element of development that have drawn our legal Marxists towards Bernsteinism and our social democrats towards economism, and that he is full of wrath against those who have determined at all costs to divert Russian social democracy from the path of spontaneous development, and then follow things that are positively funny. In the same way as men and women will multiply in the old-fashioned way, notwithstanding all the discoveries of natural science, so the birth of a new social order will come about in the future mainly as a result of element outbursts, notwithstanding all the discoveries of social science and the increase in the numbers of conscious fighters. Our grandfathers, in their old-fashioned wisdom, used to say, any fool can bring forth children, and today, the modern socialists, a la Narcissus Tuporilov, in their wisdom say, any fool can help the spontaneous birth of a new social order. We too are of that opinion. All that is required for help of that kind is to surrender to economism when economism reigns, and to terrorism when terrorism arises. For example, in the spring of this year, when it was so important to utter a note of warning against terrorism, Abu Diallo stood in amazement, confronted by a problem that was new to it, and now, 6 months after, when the problem has become less topical, it, at one and the same time, presents us with the declaration, we think that it is not and cannot be the task of social democracy to counteract the rise of terroristic temper. And the Congress resolution, the Congress regards systematic and aggressive terror as being inopportune. How beautifully clear and connected this is. Not to counteract, but to declare inopportune, and to declare it in such a way that the resolution Iskra of having the incredible effrontery to impose upon the party organization decisions on tactical questions arrived at by a group of emigrant writers more than 16 years ago. Effrontery indeed, and an exaggeration of the conscious elements to find the theoretical solution to the problems, and then to try to prove to the organization, to the party, and to the masses that this solution is correct. How much better it is to repeat something that has been learned by rote, and without imposing anything upon anybody, swing with every turn in the direction of economism or in the direction of terrorism. Rabbi Hayatielu even goes so far as to generalize this gospel of worldly wisdom and accuses Iskra and Sarya with setting up its program against the movement like a spirit hovering over the formless chaos. But what else is the function of social democracy if not to be a spirit, not only hovering over the spontaneous movement, but also raising the movement to the level of its program? Surely it is not its function to drag at the tail. Sorry, that's my belly. Surely it is not its function to drag at the tail of the movement. At best, this would be of no service to the movement, and the worst, it would be very, very harmful. Rabbi Hayatielu, however, not only follows this tactic process, but elevates it to a principle so that it would be more correct to describe its tendency not as opportunism, but kvostism from the word kvost. And it must be admitted that those who have determined always to follow behind the movement like a tail are absolutely and forever insured against belittling the spontaneous element of development. And so, we have become convinced that the fundamental error committed by the new tendency in Russian social democracy lies in its subservience to spontaneity, and its failure to understand the spontaneity of the masses demands a mass consciousness from us social democrats. The more spontaneously the masses rise, the more widespread the movement becomes, so much the more rapidly grows the demand for greater consciousness in the theoretical, political, and organizational work of social democracy. The spontaneous rise of the masses in Russia proceeded and continues with such rapidity that the young untrained social democrats proved unfitted for the gigantic tasks that confronted them. This lack of training in our common misfortune, the misfortune of all Russian social democrats, the rise of the masses proceeded and spread uninterruptedly and continuously. It not only continued in the places it commenced in, but it spread to the new localities and to new strata of the population, influenced by the labor movement, the ferment among the student and the intellectual generally, and even among the peasantry revived. Revolutionaries, however, lagged behind this rise of the masses in both their theories and in their practical activity. They failed to establish an uninterrupted organization, having continuity with the past and capable of leading the whole movement. In Chapter 1, we proved that Rabbi Hayatielu degraded our theoretical tasks and that it spontaneously repeated the fashionable catchword freedom of criticism, that those who repeated this catchword lacked the consciousness to understand that the position of the opportunist critics and the revolutionaries both in Germany and in Russia are diametrically opposed to each other. In the following chapters, we shall show how this subservience to spontaneity found expression in the sphere of the political tasks and the organizational work of social democracy. So, this was chapter 2 of What is to be Done by Lenin. Sorry, there's been quite a few times that I had to reread words or sentences just because he wrote it in a very intense way. It's more speech-like, so sometimes it's a bit difficult to follow through all the reading correctly. But thank you very much if you made it until here. Hooray, you're a hero. And please do comment, like and subscribe. It helps us continue on this journey, and hopefully I'll see you soon for chapter